Chris, how do you feel just in general, like now preseason is pretty much over, like what you accomplished in terms of what you wanted to get done to get ready?
Yeah, feels good. I mean, this is an extremely important 3 days. Today was an outstanding day of practice. Really enjoyed it. Guys were locked in, super sharp, just what we needed. I would feel pretty good about preseason in the sense that like you always come into it with one plan. There's so many moving parts, injuries, the game schedule, what your opponent might do. I mean, you might decide you're going to try to do something, and they decide to rest their guys, and then you have to readjust by what you're trying to accomplish. So, but yeah, I felt like we were able to get a lot of things accomplished quickly, and then look at a lot of different things that more on maybe on an experimental basis too.
It seems like there was intention upon the guys of getting Rudy involved offensively.
Yeah.
Like, where do you feel things are at right now on that regard of just trying to make him more a part of?
Yeah, I think it's low-hanging fruit for us to just find him when he's open, a little bit more. And the guys have done a great job. And now the pendulum swings to Rudy to make the right decision when he catches the ball. Once we get that balance right, I think it's like adding another weapon to our offense that is a little bit more reliable.
You mentioned a few days ago how the season openers haven't really gone well for you guys the last couple of years. Is that kind of the message over the next couple of days? Is let's get Wednesday off on a good foot, try to get going earlier than other seasons?
Yeah, I think it's certainly part of the message, but it's couched within the larger message of like, we got to start as we mean to go on. It's not just about day one. Of course, it's a big game. Everybody's excited, and Portland's going to be, super amped up for it too. So, but we got to be able to play consistently at a high level, and that's a mindset thing as much as anything else. So.
Johnny obviously earned the two-way spot. It was announced yesterday. Shooting kind of jumped off the screen, but what else did Johnny do in camp that kind of earned that spot for him?
He played super well within the structure. He stayed patient for his opportunities offensively. He fits in a lot of things that we do. Defensively, I thought he really competed, put his body out there. And he showed willingness to defend and get a little bit better, and I think that's a good place to start for him to become even better then.
When it comes, go ahead.
Chris, I was just say you got a lot of games logged now as the head coach. How is it different for you when you know your players, you understand the ebb and flow of a season? You've been doing this a long time now. How is it different for you as a veteran head coach as opposed to when you first?
Honestly, right now, I think it's not different. I mean, the beginning of the season always brings the same amount of excitement, same amount of positive anxiety. The negative anxiety comes in the middle of the season, but the positive anxiety is not. But I think what I've learned is this is a marathon. So you really have to kind of stay as even keeled as possible, and what your team's capable of, and if they're not playing that way, you got to try to push the right buttons to get them back. But the way our guys are built, we know that they'll always kind of figure it out. So
rebounding can sometimes crop up as you say, bugaboo sometimes for this team with the added emphasis of wanting to get out in transition. Is there a different balance you're trying to strike with committing guys to the rim versus getting out? How's that calculus kind of shifted this year?
I think the calculus of rebound has shifted, that you have to rebound more on the perimeter than you do on the interior. There's got to be a more concerted effort to kind of seal up on the perimeter. I think last year was first year that we saw more long rebounds than we did rebounds at the rim. Rebounded offensively, so that's an interesting, and that's just a byproduct of the way the game's played now with all the threes. So I think that's the biggest thing we've got to try to emphasize right now. So.
On rebounding, offensive rebounding, I remember in the playoffs you said was kind of a point of emphasis for you guys. It seems like the whole league is kind of going that way, at least through preseason. Is that kind of going hand in hand with needing more of that perimeter guard rebounding, or?
No doubt about it. I think a couple things there. One is it's probably been an underutilized and underexploited part of the game for a long, long time. Everyone in the league has had a get-back mentality, and particularly with the pace of the league right now. But one way to counter that is to make sure that they have a hard time securing possession. The other thing is possessions are so valuable. How do you get more of them? It's pretty simple there. And then corner crashing has been emphasized, guys, like with free runs out of the corner, which, you know, traditionally those have been sprint back guys. Now they're kind of been unleashed on the glass. So it's been pretty cool to watch, because these are the ways, like when I first came to the league, you know, things that we identified as kind of hidden value in the game, and, you know, now everybody's like kind of done it, and it's you know, it's analytically driven is really what it comes down to.
Did Anthony, when you look at what he can do, his mid-range game he talked about coming into this.
Yeah.
Did you see that in training camp? Did you see that he, you know, that was his off-season focus? And
Yeah,
did he have
listen,
another-
he's definitely worked on his post game. He's worked on, you know, getting clean to his mid range, which are the ones that you know, tend to go in more. Those are the ones we like. But, you know, it still can't be at the expense of what his true superpowers are, which is like his speed to attack the rim, his getting out in transition. You know, his three ball, whether it be catch and shoot or off the bounce, is absolutely elite. You know, we spoke a lot about it today. It's an accent to the game. It's something that all great players need to have. Certainly in moments where you've got to try to create a shot out of nothing. But we talked about, you know, they don't run the fullback off tackle for 20 times a game for a reason any longer. It's just not a super efficient play. So, but it's a great accent to what the whole package is, and we need him to be the whole package. So.
Awesome, thanks, everyone.
Thanks. See you guys.